Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a museum. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Not only do we have the museum building itself, but we have 8 different exhibits. Our first exhibit is an ancient prehistoric cave scene. We also have a small Viking ship, a pyramid, an incredibly fancy, exquisite, fine piece of paintantry, a frozen prehistoric man chilling in his ice cube, a mysterious ancient plant in a display case embedded in an overgrown cave, a mini end biome telling tale of something called an ender dragon, and lastly this really cool raptor skeleton. Not only will I show you how to make every single one of these, but we will also be placing the museum in the city at the end of the video. Stay tuned. This is the amount of space required to make the museum, and here are all of the materials that we will need to make the museum building itself. We will be grabbing brand new materials as we progress through the build, but I'll let you guys know what we need as we need it. Begin by placing 7 lodestone in a row on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, to the right, place a smooth quartz block. Extend that block backwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. To the right of this, place 6 more lodestone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Place a smooth quartz on the end and extend forwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Right of this, place 7 lodestone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, extending backwards, place an additional 22 lodestone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We then want to extend all the way across the back of the build, and then join up with where we very first started. We then want to completely fill the shape that we have made in using lodestone. This will form the floor of the museum, and I really like lodestone for this as it gives a warm yet interesting texture. The only downside is that it kind of sounds like an angry frog whilst you're placing it. Next, grab your white concrete and place rows of 5 white concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, on top of the 2 rows of smooth quartz that we have in the front center of the build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gives us 2 walls. In between these walls, starting on the left, we want to place a dark oak door. Right of it, a white concrete, 2 more doors, white concrete, and then another door. We then want to extend the white concretes, each upwards by 3, and then connect them together and outwards. Then place glass in the empty space above the doors, and then smooth quartz slab in front of the white concrete that we have above the doors, like so. Next, place 2 rows of stone bricks in front of the lodestones below the doors, and then add a row of stone brick stairs in front of the stone bricks. Next, come to the right side of the museum, and on top of this lodestone place 1, 2, 3 light grey terracotta with a lodestone on top. We then want to extend this all the way to the right, and then all the way back, across the back of the build, and then extend all the way to the front, and then connect back to the opposite side of the entrance. Next, come all the way to the entrance and extend the smooth quartz block and white concrete rows 1 row forwards. Beginning on the right side, we now want to leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then place a quartz pillar. This quartz pillar wants to be 5 rows high in total, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, extending all the way up to the lodestone. And then we want to once again leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, smooth quartz block, and then 4 white concrete on top of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do the exact same on the opposite side before we go any further. Leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, and then place a row of 5 quartz pillar extending all the way up. Then leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, and then place a smooth quartz block and 1, 2, 3, 4 white concrete on top. That will give us the exact same thing on both sides. Now on the right side of the build, we want to once again leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, extending all the way towards the back, and then place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pillar quartz extending up from the ground. And we want to keep repeating this, leave a gap of 3, and then a row of 5 pillar quartz until we get to the end. Now, once we reach this point in which we have 1, 2, 3, then we have ran out of wall, we will place on the corner a smooth quartz block and then 4 white concretes extending up. So you can see that on the ends we have something different, but in between it is the same. Let's do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the build now. There we go, the exact same as the opposite side. The back of the build is different but very similar. Come all the way over here to the left. Once again, leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then place a row of pillar quartz extending all the way up. We then want to leave a gap of 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then this time, smooth quartz block and white concrete extending all the way up. Come to the opposite side and do the same. So leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, pillar quartz all the way up, 1, 2, 3, smooth quartz block, and then white concrete extending all the way up, like this. Coming back to the front of the build, we want to extend the upper row of lodestones in between and through the top of the entrance, like this. We then want to extend the lodestones backwards, like so. Let's remove this smooth quartz slab. I have a different idea. Place lodestones instead. And then underneath and in front of the top of the glass of the doors, we can then place our smooth quartz slabs. Next, place upside down smooth quartz stairs in front of the left and right lodestone with smooth quartz slabs above and in between, connecting them together. This is something that we actually want to do all around the build. Place upside down, smooth quartz stairs, in between the upper parts of the pillars like this, all the way around the top of the build. This is probably a good time to mention that we also want to do it at the base of the build as well. Next, let's build the difficult part of the roof. Begin by placing smooth quartz stairs left and right of the white concrete at the top of the entrance. The stairs then want to extend one row forwards, and then we want to place upside down stairs along the inside of the stairs, extending upwards and inwards both sides equally until we eventually reach the apex. Like this. Then we simply want to place light grey concrete behind the row of smooth quartz slab, and then quartz pillar on top of the slab, filling in the empty space. So we actually get a kind of cool, interesting sense of depth and texture here. We then simply want to extend these stairs all the way back and hang off of the back of the build. When we get to the back of the build, I am actually going to make the frame for the roof on the back of the build, or at least half of it, and then come all the way to the front again and extend the opposite side backwards. And then now I'm going to place the upside down and regular stairs until we eventually hit the middle point. Like this. And then I'm just going to place some light grey concrete on top of these lodestones here. So from the outside we get this effect, and I'm thinking, is there a way for us to place slabs like this and to achieve a similar effect as what we have on the front? So we would want to place the pillars covering up this space, and we will probably have to knock some of them out. Actually, no, that is absolutely perfect. So now we have achieved that effect. All we have to do is extend all of these stairs forwards, and we are not going to do anything to the inside roof. So usually on a build like this, we would add upside down stairs to the inside of this to kind of shape the roof a little bit better, make it look a little bit more interesting, but we aren't going to be doing that because we actually need all of the headspace we can get inside of the museum. Otherwise, our dinosaur isn't going to fit. With that complete, we are just going to nip inside of the build and add a row of light grey concrete just above the entrance here to cover up any space that we may have. And maybe if we add a row of smooth quartz slabs like this, it looks a little bit more deliberate and interesting. Next, we want to place a row of smooth quartz slabs that extends from the entrance roof all the way along the top of the upside down stairs, the pillar quartz and the white concrete, overhanging the side of the build by one row, and then we want to extend all the way back, connect to the equivalent point on the back of the build, extend all the way through, and then do the exact same thing on the opposite side, making sure to overhang by one row just on the left and right side of the build. Now that gives us the areas of the roof that we can now fill in using smooth quartz slabs. Next, we want to dig out the area in front of the entrance of the museum and extend all the way to the edge of the grid, and then remove the first two rows of the grid extending left and right. We can then fill all of that space in using smooth stone. This will create a walkway to the entrance and a pavement so that we can... This next part is up to you, but I'm going to replace all of the remaining white concrete and grass block inside of my grid with lime terracotta. I just think it looks better this way. However, do feel free to completely fill the grid in with smooth stone or leave the grass itself. It's up to you. Next, place a row of 6 light grey concrete extending to the right on top of this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Add another row on top, and then a row of smooth quartz slab on top of that. Extend all the way over to the right side of the museum, and beginning on top of this block, place a green shulker box with a polished blackstone pressure plate on top. Leave a gap of 1, and then place 3 campfires next to each other. Extinguish the flames. Add spruce signs left and right of this. And then place flipped up spruce trapdoors behind. Then place a stone brick wall behind and to the right of the bench, extend up by 2, 1, 2, place an ochre frog light in front of that, and then stone slabs on top of that, and then maybe even extending another row backwards, but whichever you prefer really. Next, we have to make a bunch of banners. First of all, let's make the bin banner. Throw down a loom, open it up, place a black banner in there with 2 green dye, and the first pattern we want to apply is the bourgeois pattern. Grab that, put that in. We then want to apply the fest pattern. Grab that, apply that to the front of the shulker box, and there we have a bin. Next, we want to write out the word museum in white banners. So open up the loom, throw in the first white banner with some black dye. The first letter we have to make is M. So apply the inverted chevron pattern, put white dye in there, and then apply the chief indented pattern. Remove the white dye, put black dye in, and apply the pale dexter pattern, followed by the pale sinister pattern. M. Next is U. Pale dexter, pale sinister, base. Next is S. Sheath, base, bend. Next is E. Pale dexter, sheath, fess, base. Next would be U again, but I already have it, so now we would have to make M, which we already have, so I guess we only have to make 4 letters in total. So applying these to our light grey concrete area here, M, U, S, E, U, M. Museum. With the entire outside of our museum made, we can now head inside and begin work on the interior. It's time for us to make some exhibits. The first of which we will place in the left side of the museum, inside of this alcove just next to the entrance. We are going to make a prehistoric scene with a small cave, some crystals and some ancient pots. Begin by placing a layer of black concrete directly in front of this wall. Then place stone in front of the bottom of the wall, along the left, right side of the wall and along the top. Place upside down stone stairs in the two corners here with a dripstone hanging from the roof of the cave. We then want to line the bottom of the cave with varying sizes of amethyst clusters, some stone buttons littered around the wall of the cave. Then we are going to dig in front of this one entire row, and then we are going to dig a slightly shorter row in front, so it will be one row shorter on both sides, so we want a little mossy effect. Then we'll place a couple of pots in front of the center part of the cave, but now we have to throw down a crafting table, open it up, and we need to grab varying different pottery shards, and we want to place them in a crafting table in a plus position like this. Grab the end result, and we want to do the same with, at the very least, two varying pots, which we will then place next to the two smaller pots like this. Then, in front of and to the left of this pot, we are going to place an oak fence, or maybe a couple of oak fence with a torch on top. We then have to grab a mob, so I'm using a camel for this. Throw down a camel, leash the camel to the top of the fence here, and then unfortunately we have to, how do we put this delicately, dispatch the camel. There may be in fact another way to do this, but the idea is that the lead stays on the fence afterwards, and it's just a really cool effect. Last but not least, add a couple of item frames to the ground with a pottery shard and a bow in the item frames, and there we go. In every single one of these circumstances, we will also have a lectern next to our exhibits with a book inside so that we can read about what scene is left here. Exhibit 1 complete. Next, a small Viking ship. To place this, leave a gap of 3 in front of this pot in the corner. 1, 2, 3, and then destroy this fourth block. Dig 3 in front of it. 1, 2, 3. Dig to the right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then dig toward the back wall. Fill this area in with oak logs. Dig the middle out. We are then going to dig one row further down. Replace the base with sand. And then fill this area in. This next bit is tricky to explain, but basically, we want to suspend an oak plank directly in the middle of the water area that we have made, like this. We then want to place an oak plank left and right of this, with an upside down oak stair on each end. On the front, we want to place a forwards facing oak stair with an oak plank on top and spruce buttons either side of the plank, like so. However, on the back, we want to place an oak stair like this on top with an oak slab on top of that, so ever so slightly different. And then item frames on the side of the boat, just the 3 middle planks with cyan terracotta inside of the item frames, like so. And then on the middle of the boat, place 1, 2, and then can we go for, we can go 3. I guess it touches the ceiling, but it's not a big deal. 3 spruce fence extending up from the middle, and then a spruce fence gate extending out from the middle fence like this, left and right. Next, throw down the loom, open it up, red banner in there with white dye, and apply the pally pattern. Grab that, throw that in the inventory, throw that in front of the fence gate blocks, and then the fence in between, and there we have a sail. Then we will simply place a spruce fence on each one of the 4 corners of the exhibit with fence gate in between them all. Then place torches on top of the 2 corner fences like this, and then just in front of it, lectern, book and quill, just like so. Exhibit 2 complete. Our third exhibit is a small pyramid. In the back left hand corner of the museum, dig out a row of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, extending forwards. Dig 6 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then dig all the way against this back wall. We then want to fill this in with a mixture of sand and sandstone stairs. Now, we're placing the sandstone stairs in kind of an unorthodox manner, kind of like this. They want to look a little bit weird. I want the ground to look a little bit broken up around the pyramid. Wherever you choose to do this, make sure that you have no visible lodestones from the side. So like here, for instance, where the stairs face inwards, we want to see sand. Inside of this area, we want to place a 5 by 5 square of sandstone stairs, like so. We're then just going to fill this in just because it makes this next part easier, and then we are able to add sandstone stairs on top of the sand that we've just placed. Finally, a smooth sandstone slab poking out of the top of our pyramid, and then we are going to place a couple of spruce fence, one here and then somewhere here along the right side as well. On this right fence, just stack a flower pot and a fern inside of it, and on this left side, stack an additional fence, flower pot, fern. So we want it to look a little bit rough. Then, in front of this, let's go right in the middle, lectern, book and quill. Our next exhibit is going to be a very fancy historical painting placed along the back wall. Leave a gap of 1 moving right of the back of this pyramid, and then place 1, 2, 3, 4 spruce trapdoors in front of the wall. Spruce stairs on top of the left and right side with upside down stairs on top. Spruce trapdoors on top of the stairs and then extending in between each other creates the frame. Then a painting in the middle, that is my personal favourite. Next, we are going to place end rods left and right of the frame with chains in front of the end rods in front of the chains. Leave a gap of 1 from both sides and place smooth quartz slabs in the middle facing the painting with birch signs on the end. We then want to place redstone torches on top of the end rods to look like some sort of security procedure. Then leave a gap of 1 behind the seat, and then we want to place 2 rows of 4 red concrete powder like this to kind of just highlight this area. This is the one exhibit in the museum where I don't actually plan on adding a lectern, as I think there is a little bit too cramped. Exhibit 4 complete. Exhibit 5 is a prehistoric man trapped in an ice cube. So, in the back right hand corner of the museum, we want to dig out a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then dig forwards 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can just clear out this entire area. Next, we are going to dig out all of the dirt and replace it with white wool. With that complete, we now have to make an iceberg. Place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white wool across the back of this area with a row in front. We then want to extend the 3 middle blocks forwards by 2 rows, like this. Let's pick a block for our man to stand on. So let's delete this block here and place a sea lantern on top. An armor stand on top of the sea lantern with a player head, leather tunic, and leather pretty much everything on the armor stand. Now our unfortunate friend will have to get surrounded with light blue glass. So we first of all just want to make a basic shape like this. We then want to extend the shape in a few different directions to make it look like a jagged block of ice. Just kind of like this will do. Then we will add some white carpet to the ice and just to some of the surrounding area like so. Some water surrounding our exhibit. And then, last but not least, lectern with a book and quill to tell you a little bit about Chilled Steve. Exhibit 5 complete. Our next exhibit is an incredibly rare and mysterious plant placed in front of a display case inside of a mossy overgrown cave. This will be placed on the right side of the museum, leaving a gap of 1 from Frozen Steve. Place a stone against this wall, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black concrete powder, then a stone. Extend the concrete powder all the way up to the ceiling, and stone with it left and right. Extend the stone 1 row forwards, like this. Place a stone stair extending in from the left and right side, with an oak log extending in from the stone stair, shroom light in between them, oak log in front of each oak log, a lectern in front of that, then a flower pot on top of the shroom light. We are now going to place stone at the top of the cave here, with some dripstone here on the right. We might even make it a large one. We also want to add some buttons about. We also want to add an upside down stone stair just over here on the left side. And now we should really make the entire case so that we can decorate the rest of the cave. So I'm using a torch flower because it is just such a majestic plant inside the flower pot. Build up some glass pane in front of this and across the front like this. We may have to remove these buttons here, but we can just move them away. This is why I wanted to make the case first. That's perfect. So spruce trapdoors across the top, of course, hence why we had to move the buttons. We also want to label this. We are going to label it Mysterious Ancient Plant. There we go. Or you could put something funny there like Mario Fireflower. Next, we want to decorate this cave wall by adding vines and some grow lichen wherever we can. Here on this side as well, here a bit of lichen. You know, just to kind of like really add a sense of feeling to the display. And just left and right of the case, we are going to place some moss. You can place it in front as well if you want, but I do kind of want a clear path to this. And then we're able to place some like drip leaf and some like big drip leaf around, maybe even a little bit of lichen on the floor. You could even add some other cool stuff as well, so like the pointed dripstone as well. And I mean, we could just leave it like that, actually. That looks really good. No need for an additional lectern and quill. I think that Mysterious Ancient Plant covers it nicely. Exhibit 6 complete. Our next exhibit is a mini end biome that tells the tale of a once mysterious, majestic, beautiful beast known as an ender dragon that roamed and controlled his own realm. So this is going to be placed in the opposite alcove just next to the entrance. We want to begin by digging out this entire back row of lodestone. On the end, place a stone, and everywhere else, place end stone. Dig 3 rows in front of the actual stone, 1, 2, 3, and then dig 2 rows in front of and to the left. Then dig 2 more rows left, 1, 2, and then dig a row forwards and left. Fill all of those in with stone. Dig out the rest of the lodestone. In the middle of this area, which is hard to identify, but it's right here, place a cauldron, and everywhere else fill up with endstone. On top of the cauldron, place a crimson fence with a dragon egg on top. If you cannot give yourself a dragon egg, /give your name, then come on Minecraft, do the work for me. Minecraft, dragon _ egg. That will do it nicely. Then we want to leave a gap of 1 on the left and right and place a polished black stone wall. In front, leave a gap of 1, 2, and then left and right place a polished black stone wall. At the back, gap of 1, 2, and then left and right of that, place polished black stone wall. So we have kind of a centered egg around all of our polished black stone wall. We then want to raise up this pillar and place conduits on top of every single pillar. Then we simply want to add chains on top of the outer stone block. You know what? On top of every stone block. And then if you can find somewhere to fit it, it may even be that we destroy one of these chains and place a lectern. Then we can have a lectern that also tells us the tale of all of this wonderful stuff. Our next and final exhibit will be a raptor skeleton placed directly in the centre of the museum. The way that we start this off is by coming to the mysterious plant. We want to count 6 rows inwards from this sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On top of this block, place a smooth quartz stair. Leave a gap of 1 extending forwards and place another stair like this. On top of each one of these, place a smooth quartz block and then connect them together. Extending out of the back, place a smooth quartz block and then extend the lower half of it backwards by 2 using slabs. Place an upside down smooth quartz stair in front of the block in between the legs and then place, I want to say, a whole block on top, behind a slab like this. We then want to place a smooth quartz block in front of this and then a slab extending outwards left and right of the lower half of the block. And then underneath these 2 slabs we want to place smooth quartz stairs, specifically placed in this position. Let me give you this view, hopefully that is a little bit more illuminating. Or maybe not, but hopefully you guys are following along. Next, we want to place a backwards facing smooth quartz stair on top of the block in between the arms, and then a forwards facing stair in front of it. In front of that, a smooth quartz block, and then lastly a slab on top of the stair. So the end result will look like this. I'll also show you from this view as well, because there's so much white in this museum it's kind of blending together. With the entire skeleton complete, we can now make the rest of the exhibit. So, dig 1 row behind the dinosaur feet and extend that row left and right, so in front of and behind the dinosaur. We then want to dig all the way over to the left, leaving a gap of 2 lodestone between the exhibit and, well, the Viking ship. We then want to dig across and effectively remove all of the lodestone inside of this area that we have now marked out. Around the edge, we are going to place reinforced deep slate. So I just kind of like this, and it kind of looks prehistoric-y. This is just the edge of the exhibit. You can use whatever you like. I just think that it has a little something to it. We will place moss in the middle, and then chain all the way around and on top of the deep slate, like this. And then we are just going to add a little bit more interest to the moss, so we'll bone meal, we can't bone meal it. And here I was thinking that you could bone meal moss, no biggie, so we'll add a flowering azalea, a couple of eggs maybe scattered about the place to look as though that our little dinosaur here has some eggs. Some moss carpet as well, just to kind of like change the terrain a little bit. And I'm also going to steal some of the drip leaf and glow lichen blocks just to kind of like add a little something extra as well. But it doesn't have to be improved too much. I think that this looks pretty good as it is. Maybe move that azalea a little bit further away, and maybe the drip leaf is a tad too high. I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of grass and fern, as they are just a little bit smaller. And last but not least, let's add a lectern with a book and quill inside of it just in front of the dinosaur as we enter. Pride of place. Our final exhibit is now complete. Our tutorial may be complete, but this video is not over. We must now take our museum and add it into the city. So we now have this awesome museum and nowhere for it to go. I really think it'd look great in front of the Empire State Building, but it just simply doesn't fit, and we would have to restructure this entire road area for it to work. I think that the only sensible option, as much as I don't like this, is we have to put this into storage next to our city hotel, but don't worry, it's not going to stay there for long. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you are looking for more builds to add to your city, look no further than the Mini City Builds playlist. Over 50 videos strong as of recording this video. I hope that you're enjoying building your cities as much as I am. I'm having such a good time with this, you have no idea. thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.